Hi everyone, I'm Prerna from 100X.VC and I welcome you all to this online session with 100X entrepreneurs discussing their experiences and outlook towards the growing startup ecosystem and the rise of women leaders in India. Today we have three amazing women entrepreneurs building solid businesses. Hi Niharika, hi Arushi, hi Sophiya. It is so good to have you
Hi.
guys in this session.
Hi.
A very happy Women's Day to all three of you and all the women in the audience. Why don't we start with a quick round of introductions? Each of you introduce yourselves and talk about what you're building at your startup. We can start with Niharika, followed by Arushi, and then Sofia.
So, hi everyone. First of all, thank you so much, Prerna, for having me, and happy Women's Day to you as well. So, at Little Farm, what we're doing basically is we're selling pickles that are artisanal pickles that are without any preservatives, and of course, that are tasty. And I'm happy to say that about 80% of our workforce at our factory is women. So that's what we're pretty much doing. We're selling pickles in 5 different flavors, and we're a digital first brand that's growing now.
Arushi, you can go next. I can't hear you, Arushi. I think you're on mute.
I'm sorry. Hi, Prerna. Happy Women's Day to you too, and to everyone who's watching. I'm Arushi Sharma. I'm the co-founder of Think Metal. At Think Metal, we basically make metal 3D printers that can print metal parts right at your desk faster than ever, while saving you cost. As of now, we're the first in the Indian market to be doing this, and yeah, that's about it.
Hey, Sofia, you can go next.
Hi, Prerna. Happy Women's Day to everyone here. Hi, I'm Sophiya Jaganathan, co-founder and CEO of Metashop. I look over business, sales, and marketing. Metashop is a deep tech startup that helps you to create photorealistic 3D models in minutes. All you need to do is, suppose this is a object, you just have to record a simple video of any subject around you, and you have to upload it to our application. You can create the 3D model within minutes, and in the end, you will be able to visualize these 3D models in AR and VR, helping you to visualize e-commerce products much better and faster.
Interesting. So I'd like to kickstart the session with my first question around our experience in your journey as a woman entrepreneur that played a pivotal role in your career. Niharika, you'd like to go first?
You're on mute, Niharika.
Could you just repeat your question? Your voice was cracking a little.
Sure. So I was asking about what is the one experience in your journey as a woman entrepreneur that played a pivotal role in your career?
I feel like I wouldn't call it maybe one experience in my journey. I think it was early on. I think it was the way my parents supported me, or in the household that I grew up. For me and my brother, there were no differences as such while we were growing up. I was always encouraged, in terms of work, whichever direction I want to go to. So I feel like that was something that started early on in my life, and that wasn't just, one particular experience. And for that, I guess I have to thank my parents, because they sort of brought up both me and my brother, who's also actually my co-founder, in a very similar way. With, there were no differences as such in terms of the opportunities that we have, in terms of the access of education that we have, or in terms of no bias in terms of what kind of professions can we get into. So I guess that was in whole that I feel helped me also, start my entrepreneurial journey. My parents really supported me head on early on, because they both themselves are entrepreneurs. So I feel like that is something that, sort of helped me also get into this line and, start this.
Arushi, you'd like to go next?
Yeah, I believe, again, as Niharika mentioned, there can never be one or two moments, but some of them that I can recall very vividly is early on when I started the entrepreneurial journey. Being a CTO, people were not very comfortable discussing tech with me. They would come up to me and they would say, "Can we speak to your co founder because we want to discuss technology?"
which used to hit me a lot. And I come from a very privileged background. This was very new to me, which is when I realized that me being in this industry is way more than the technical advancement that we're looking at. It will also reflect as a representation of women in tech, which can benefit the people who will come after me as well. So that was, I think, one of the pivotal moments that don't let me give up.
Interesting. What about you, Sophia?
Yeah, along with Niharika and Arushi, I think that's the same. Or having a major support system that is your family, supporting in every step of your life. I think that is one of the major things for me to choose this path and to apply my confidence to every decision that I take. I think that is one of the pivotal role for me too.
While we've heard like a lot of conversations around women empowerment, I believe women representation and participation today is stronger than ever. And just a quick stat for everyone who's tuned in: 25% of all the companies that 100XVC is backed are led by women today. And my next question is around this. Despite this growing ratio, and despite an increase in number of women pursuing STEM or advanced courses, why do you think the representation in the startup ecosystem is still low, or maybe relatively low? Niharika, you'd like to answer?
I would say to start with, one of the major reasons I believe is lack of funds also. If you think of the gender gap in terms of, if you just think of in any household, men are usually passed down with all the assets, whereas women don't get anything. So they usually have that family support, at least to start with the basic business funds that they have to. Whereas for women, they have to a lot of times look outside and look at other alternative funds. Of course, this is changing and growing thanks to people like you, and thanks to other funds which women can seek out to if they have great ideas. But I feel like that's one of the major reasons that I believe that it is, apart from of course your support from family that you get. And if we look at India as a whole, thankfully we were born in tier 1 cities while we got access to the best education in terms of what our family could provide. But there's so many women out there who have great ideas across India as well. But in terms of access, there is a disparity in general.
Absolutely. Arushi, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I'd like to agree to Niharika on this one. I feel the three of us sitting on the panel here were really fortunate to have the kind of support system to be able to start and then grow a company like this. But for a lot of chunk of women in India, especially, they are pushed to choose a safer or a more reliable option, like taking up a 9 to 5 job, or say, if even if they're interested in R&D, they're pushed to take up a PhD or something like that, which is a more conventional option, which needs to change. I think support from your family and your loved ones is what can push you towards taking the entrepreneurial route, which I think is changing, but we still have a long way to go.
That's true.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Sophia?
Yeah, along the line with what Niharika and Arushi said, that's the same. Like, I'll just list out what it's there, like this gender bias, limited access to capital and networks, and had this societal expectations of women roles. I think this is a big barrier nowadays, and I think it is slowly waving off, but it's not that there yet. So also favoring male founders much more than female founders, just like how Arushi explained. I think that is something discouraging many women, but I think at the same time, it is essential to address these barriers and support women entrepreneurs going forward.
True. I think I agree with all three of you on this. And while we're talking about lack of funds or maybe lack of resources, we still have abundance of mentorship and network resources here, at least here at 100XVC. So, how do you think this plays a role in your journey as women entrepreneurs, or your success as women entrepreneurs? And how have you personally benefited from this till now?
In terms of 100x, at least for me, the funds are very important for any business to scale and grow. That's number one. But the second for me was the access to mentorship and networks that 100x opened up for the Little Farm Co. Specifically, when we were in Bombay for the 5-week program, once we got funded, that's what I actually saw, the kind of founders that we interacted with, the networks that it opened, and specifically there's no gender bias. That definitely helps.
Yeah.
What about you, Arushi?
Yeah, I think what Niharika said, I think 100X was one of the places where I did not feel the gender bias at all working there. I think closely with the entire team for 5 weeks. And also the benefits of mentorship and networking, I personally saw very closely there because as it is, the number is pretty less when you see women entrepreneurs, right? And we got to meet so many women co founders there, and there was a sort of community built there. So we could share I remember sharing it with Sophiya, the kind of issues that I have faced. And she mentioned that she had the same. So, which made me realize that, okay, maybe I'm not the only one. And it's a problem of the industry that can only be solved by representation and more women coming up. So, I think, yeah.
Sophia, what would you like to add to this?
Yeah, as just it's mentioned in the title 100x Mentoring Unlimited, I think that's one of the major thing that we would are really thankful. And being a startup, in it being in 100x being an early investor at this early stage where we're yet developing and understanding how to develop a business, the mentorship and networking that 100x provided has been a huge help to us throughout. And it's and I think Metashop is especially lucky to have been with 100x for the past 6 months and to learn every single day. And the one thing that always keeps going through my head is scale or fail, that always Ninad mentions. So I think that is something will always be in my mind. And as Metashop growing from small to big, I'll always have 100x be a backbone or a major backbone for our growth.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Just want to
So,
add on, we met such an amazing team at 100x, like you, Prerna, or Lippy. Even that was really encouraging for us when, we're coming from a different city. So that was great.
I'm
Exactly.
glad we could add value. Um, so my next question, I want to look at brighter side of things. So what is the do you think there's a skill set that only women leaders are able to bring to the table? And do you have any such experiences that you can share from your personal journeys? Niharika?
I personally think that it's patience and perseverance, which I feel like is a strong skill set. Again, don't want to be gender biased in any way also, but I do feel like women are patient in terms of that. And I guess building a business does require a lot of patience and perseverance. So that definitely helps. And also, in a way, the nurturing nature that definitely helps in building a team as well. In terms of personal experience for me, so because we are manufacturing, and basically most of the people who work at our factory are women. In fact, 80% of our workforce is women. That definitely helped because they saw women founders, so interacting with them personally, understanding their needs, understanding their timings, and sort of using their skill set, that's pickling, to develop a business, definitely helped me get that personal connect with them and build a further team, and maybe I would say a ripple effect in terms of employing women.
What about you, Arushi?
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. I personally actually feel that skill set is something that varies, from person to person and goes beyond someone's gender. So I feel if I point out that what are women, only women good at, I'll be reinforcing the idea of, the qualities that women can and cannot do. So I feel it's the skill set is something that you look beyond gender on a personal opinion. So yeah.
Okay. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts, Sophia?
yeah. On the same side, I agree with Arushi. Skill set is something you look beyond the gender. So on the gender perspective, being an entrepreneur is very hard. Though you are a female or a man, I think you need to have that drive, power, and the hunger to devour anything that comes in your way, so that you stand your ground and you achieve what you think. Just look forward and think what is right for the company, build for the world, and then and the only goal that you have to have in the mind is solve problems of millions of people out there to the solution together with your co-founders and your huge support team, family members.
Yeah, I think the support system plays a huge role
Correct.
in either genders, so to say. So, I would like to understand what is your biggest challenge as a woman entrepreneur being, or in general, what do you think is the biggest challenge for women entrepreneurs across the country, and what would be your top tip to combat this? Niharika, you can go first.
Thankfully, the support system that I had, I would say I had it easy in terms of what other women co-founders have to go through. So I would feel like I'm blessed in that way, and I had the support system at least to start with at home. But of course, when I started, we were doing pickles. There were some stereotypes, or there were some comments which weren't, I would say, positive. But again, it's all about what you decide to focus on, and if you decide to focus on growth, eventually those negative comments also become positive. So I think it's all about taking whatever comes in your stride and focus on the main thing, that's your business, growing your baby. That's what I would say.
What about you, Arushi?
I think the biggest challenge for me comes from the industry that I'm operating in, which is tech and especially hardware. So the biggest challenge was, I think, the apprehension that I saw in people's eyes when I told them that I lead the R&D or the tech team. And I think the only way I have learned to combat that is to put my head down and prove people wrong, because only then they see that yes, women can lead a tech team, or women can successfully build technology.
Right. Sophia, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge that any woman entrepreneur face, according to me, is being recognized less than what they deserve, and for the work they have done. Me being someone who has faced it recently, I would just like to give a small advice to all the women out there: is just haters will keep hating. Just look forward and do what you think is right and follow what you think is right. I just like to add an interesting comment that I saw in a recent interview from a famous tennis player, that this interviewer asked this tennis player that how do you cope up with all the hate that you get. The simple answer what the interviewer told was, out of 100%, only 20% people hate me. I don't need to see them. There are 80% people who love me and support me every step of my life. All I need to do is take that as a motivation and grow and give back to the world that I have taken. And I think this is something should be the culture henceforth coming to my company, is like you support each other, grow, learn together with your teammates, and acknowledge what they do.
Right, that's quite inspiring, and I'm glad that the narrative of women not being able to handle certain sectors is changing, and I hope that is going to inspire a lot more women entrepreneurs to come forward. On this note, I would love to end the session. And once again, Niharika, Arushi, Sophia, thank you for joining us in this event. Wishing you all a happy Women's Day and a very happy Holi as well. Thanks once again for joining in.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you so much for having us. Happy Women's
Yeah.
Day to everyone. And Sophia and
Happy Women's
Arushi, happy
Day.
Women's Day.
Happy Holi.
Happy Holi,
Yeah.
guys.